Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of a Geek Syndicate Doctor Who review. This time will be out slightly sooner than last week, although less to digest this time as well, which makes things easier. I'm here as usual with my semi-boss slash co-host slash all-round awesome guy.
Just slash, really.
Just slash a lot. Yeah, I mean, you should have done that before we started recording, if I'm honest. See what I did there?
Yeah, I see what you did there. It wasn't particularly humorous, but we'll go with it. And
yeah, I mean, expect that to be about the level, though. So.
Yeah, hopefully we'll just gloss over that and just roll on. So, here we are again. More Doctor Who.
Episode 6, Praxeus.
Yeah.
As usual, spoilers will be forthcoming, I'm sure. General chat, and we'll start off with a blurb.
Yeah.
So, here's a blurb. What connects this sounds like a joke, actually. What connects a missing astronaut in the Indian Ocean, birds behaving strangely in Peru, and a US naval officer who washes up on a Madagascar beach? Team TARDIS investigate.
Does it actually say Team TARDIS?
It does say Team TARDIS, rather than the usual, the Doctor, Graham, Yaz, and Ryan, and I'm quite glad they've done this. Although, on the official blurb, because I copied and pasted this from iPlayer, and TARDIS is spelled capital T and then everything else is lowercase.
Okay.
It's not how acronyms work, but
yeah,
it's not like it was an official source. Oh, wait a minute.
We'll just let it roll.
Let it slide. It's fine. It's not going to bother me at all, not one little bit. Yeah. So this episode was written by Pete McTighe and Chris Chibnall, and it follows on from. Well, what we discussed last week was a bit of a perfect cliffhanger sort of mid-season finale, really. So I'm going to let you go first this time because I opened last time.
Did you?
Yeah.
What I'll say is that what the previous episode has done, the previous episode and the season opener has done now, is it's given me this two things. One, I have to watch it like the first chance I get. So I watched this episode at 4:00 this morning because I don't watch it on Sunday nights anymore, and I didn't go online or anything like that because I didn't want to get spoiled. And secondly, I spent the whole episode going, what's the twist, what's the twist, what's the twist, what's the twist? Do you know what I mean? And it's like waiting for someone to like just suddenly appear that I hadn't seen before, which obviously wasn't the case in this episode, but that was fine. But I have to say, I enjoyed the episode, to be honest. Did I enjoy it as much as last week's? No, but it doesn't matter. What I quite liked, which was two things I really stood out for me that I really liked, was one, which I think was something you said, that I liked the fact that they're starting to find better ways to use the companions.
Yeah.
So I quite liked the fact that the episode started with them all split up.
Yeah, but I must admit I quite like that as well, and I quite liked as well the fact that we were almost coming into it mid-story kind of thing. It was almost like a pre-title bit in a Bond film sort of thing. I like that.
And I like the fact that it kind of went to show that A, they've been travelling with the Doctor for a little while now, and B, that they're far more confident to run the show on their own, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, especially Yaz, I think, was a standout on that kind of front.
Yeah, although I have something to say about her later on. But yeah,
that's fine. But yeah, as I said, but I enjoyed it and I liked the kind of global aspect to it for the most part. I actually didn't see the twist coming that the scientist that was helping them, that actually she was alien.
When it was revealed, it made perfect sense.
Yeah, and
it was good. I felt the episode kind of flowed quite logically.
Yeah,
in that sense.
And I think had that not been the reveal, I think that might have been one of the things that we might have said afterwards. Oh, right, that was a bit lucky, wasn't it? She happened to drop in a place where there was a lab which had everything she needed.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, yeah, because that's why they were there in the first place. And what I liked is this did what I wanted the episode Orphan 55 to do.
Yeah.
In that there were clearly some, analogies to we're messing up the planet, and that's kind of what's caused some of this, but it wasn't hammered home.
No, it's one of the things I've noticed. It's an ecological warning message, but it was subtler, And the thing of it is as well with this, it was actually like a lot of what was said is, fact. It's like the microplastics, they are in the water, the tiny little microplastics, they are in the air, and we are getting them in our bodies, kind of thing. Like, so that all made sense. And the 5 Gaias that were mentioned, kind of, they do sort of exist. So, it was quite good because it was science fiction while using some fact to back it up as well. And for me, that's better because rather than just saying, see, this is what will happen in some kind of like almost theoretical sort of manner and hypothetical manner, this is actually showing, well, actually, you can look this up and we are heading this way because we have the science that shows that this is obviously an alien pathogen kind of feeding on plastic or whatever it was doing. That bit's probably not happening. I'm saying probably not because who knows?
That we know.
Yeah, but the reason why they came to Earth is sort of quite true, sort of thing, for the most part.
Yeah, but also as well, what I liked was the fact that there were just facts that were stated, and you could draw your own conclusions, which were pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Like showing massive amounts of rubbish that had been dumped and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, and you draw your own conclusions, and the conclusions were kind of obvious that actually we're not doing the planet any good, and it's opening us up to other threats that we may not have realised.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of point of it. But what it didn't do, which is what I was worried it was going to, was actually have a bit at the end with the Doctor kind of going, well, what we learned in today's episode.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen. So I was very glad of that. So overall, I enjoyed it. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm same as you. As I say, I thought it was a much subtler and therefore better ecological message. I felt that I actually the mystery of it was good as well. It was kind of like everything came together nicely. So it's kind of, you saw like the space psoriasis, I'm going to call it, take its effect, but you didn't know it was a disease specifically, and you didn't know, everything kind of followed on, and the plot came together logically, which it doesn't always in Doctor Who. Let's face it, sometimes there are leaps of either logic or just kind of like it's almost like quantum of solace effect of you need the protagonist to reach a conclusion, so they do, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And there wasn't any of that. It did actually feel like it built up, and everything felt earned in it. Yeah, so the reveal of Suki as being a member of the alien species, and also the fact that it wasn't, this wasn't an attack on Earth specifically. This was one race effectively trying to find somewhere to solve their own problem.
Yeah.
And just that, as far as they were concerned, they were more important than any life on Earth, sort of thing.
Yeah.
That felt more, it wasn't an insidious invasion of plot. It was just science.
And also as well, when you actually factor through what they're actually doing, it's because they crashed. So originally they were just coming to Earth to use it as, like you say, a bit of a test bed, but you got the impression that it would have been under far more controlled circumstances.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
And because they crashed, it basically all went to hell in a handbasket, and everything got flooded out.
Yeah, and the fact that she was dedicated, wanted to save a race, so she carried on regardless.
Yeah, so these weren't, for the most part, in the clearest sense of the word, they weren't the villains.
It's kind of like the ends justifying the means, isn't it?
Yes.
So they had the right end goal. It was just potentially, and as you say, it wasn't thought out, premeditated plan to just experiment on Earth. It was, they were coming here for an experiment, and then they rolled with the situation they found themselves in.
Yeah.
Or that's how I read it anyway. I don't know if that was the intention, but certainly that's where I came from. On the subject of the Praxeus, so the effect of the disease, I thought that they did a really good job of that. It was quite,
because it was quite nasty to look at. I think it was more when it was kind of just taken hold really quickly. It probably wasn't as much, but I think because you had the astronaut fellow who was infected with it as it kind of went on. It was quite unsettling.
Yeah, the slow reveal of it was actually more sinister and better handled, really, I think, than the couple of times where you had the really quick kind of takeover and justification.
Yeah.
Which is often the case in these things. It's like the whole kind of keep your monster in the dark thing, isn't it? It's that sort of.
Yeah. The thing that I want to say that I actually really, really did like is because this felt like a mystery and a proper investigation, gathering clues and whatever. what I noticed, and I really did notice it, was that the Sonic played a very small part in this.
Yes, the Sonic was used as a Sonic should be used.
Yeah.
It was used as a tool.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about Warren Brown a bit.
Oh yeah. Well, we like him.
Yeah, we like him, but I must admit, I got a little bit more excited than I probably should have when I first. Cause I can't remember whether I saw his face or heard his voice. It was one of the two. And for a moment, there was a part of me that was like, "Oh, Unit's back," because he plays Lieutenant Sam Bishop or Lieutenant Sam Bishop in the Unit audio series. So when I saw it, and I kind of remember afterwards, I remembered the fact that he'd been cast, and it was clearly never going to be that. But it was kind of like, Unit, and because he was introduced in that kind of like action role as well, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, great, Unit's bad. And it's like, oh, no, he's a policeman or whatever. And it was, oh, okay. And then I was kind of thinking, oh, can we have a Strike Back Doctor Who crossover? Which would be the most amazing yet crazy thing I could possibly imagine.
Yeah, leaning more towards crazy, but still amazing.
Just imagine the Strike Back team taking on a Dalek stronghold.
There'd be a lot of swearing.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, but I thought he was great throughout it as well. As I say, I quite like him anyway in everything I've seen him in. But I thought he did a really good job in the role. You could see, he had sometimes, especially I think because of Strike Back, you don't necessarily see his emotional depth. But in this, he certainly proved he could, he can act as well as be an action hero.
Yeah.
And I think, to be fair, other things he's been in, he has shown that. It's just my brain's so Strike Back focused.
Well, like I said, I first came across him in Luther, and he was brilliant in that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he's a phenomenal actor, and it was good to see him in Doctor Who, and possibly maybe in a recurring role. You never know. At the end he went off to inverted commas save the world. So yeah, with a bit of luck, he might return.
Yeah, definitely.
And I thought they also handled his relationship well as well in the episode.
Yes.
And yeah, while there was a bit of the Captain Jack's introduction at the end, where it was kind of like, going to sacrifice yourself and then getting rescued at the last minute by the TARDIS. I was sort of hoping for that to happen because I did have a bit of a connection with the character.
Yeah.
And there is that whole thing of where you've got an estranged couple like that, and one that's trying to make it up to the other. That self-sacrifice thing becomes like he wasn't as bad as I thought, whatever. So I quite like the fact that they kind of like dodged that bullet. And just went down the road of actually, I accept who I am, and I accept that you accept who I am, sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I did think, and obviously you've only got, and again, as much as I enjoyed the companions or whatever, I think the thing that you do have when you've got so many companions is everyone gets less screen time.
Yes.
And I think with Warren Brown's sort of character and their sort of relationship and stuff, what I didn't get a sense of was why he was supposed to be, a bit of a dodgy geezer, and why because the whole point was like he wasn't in the police anymore. He was like on a sabbatical or whatever it was. But I didn't really understand why. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I do understand what you mean, but I totally got it. And it's not from anything that was necessarily on screen apart from his face and the conversation he had with Graham on the beach, because it was that whole thing. As you know, I suffer from imposter syndrome, and it's not just my work life. I suffer it at home, and I don't feel like I'm good enough. I don't see why someone like Amy would want to be with me while she's married to me. So I completely understood where he was coming from.
No, it wasn't that I got.
Right.
Okay. What I mean? But you can be all of that and still be in the police force.
Yeah, but I
think what I needed was, because taking that to its extreme, you're still in your job. I suffer from imposter syndrome. I'm still in my job, and I think all I would have needed, and then maybe I am being clutching straws or whatever, but I just needed. I would have needed a bit more, and I think my thing was it wasn't necessarily.
It was more the work aspect than the.
But I think the problem is, this is what I mean, is I think because they've got to juggle so many characters, invariably you have to make sacrifices on your character development.
Yes.
Because if you think about it, if you look at it from the point of view of, let's just say that episode was just the Doctor and Yaz and all those other and all those other characters, you would have had more time to have thrown in a few just to kind of show how he got to where he was.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I just assumed that he was just doing the self-destruction thing and had gone too far on a case or something. But again, it was something I'd made because it's the sort of thing I would probably do.
Yeah.
Not that I have, but I could sort of thing quite easily. But again, I think coming back to what I was saying before, I think that's one of the reasons why I resonated with the character, because I just related to him so much, despite the fact I'm far from Warren Brown, and like I'm not a policeman, I'm not an action person, but because of the character he was presenting, I could relate a lot to that.
Yeah,
which is really good. So I like that. Coming on to the other kind of characters that were in it, and this is a general thing, and this isn't a particular dig at the episode or anything. This is just me being nitpicky, in part because I actually enjoyed this episode. So this is like three for three now that I've enjoyed, a lot more than I've not enjoyed. And a lot of my negatives on this, or all my negatives really, are kind of the little nitpicky things, even more so than the one you've just said, to be fair, because I think you're right. There was scope to, if you had less companions, to expand on some of the backstory and stuff, and to have a little bit more about, the marriage situation and how that was breaking down and stuff as well. You could have got more of that in.
Yeah.
But for me, I just felt people were reacting a bit oddly throughout the episode. So specific examples that I've written down or noted were, so obviously Gabrielle and Jamelia had gone to Peru for their travel vlog and camped up on the river.
Yes, I have something to say about that, but okay, keep going.
And it was the fact that when the dead bird fell out the sky, her first thought was to go and touch it. That's not what people do. Even I wouldn't do that, and I'm a survivalist. I'd be thinking dinner, but I wouldn't. If a bird just dropped dead out the sky, I would not be going to it to touch it. You know? So that was a bit odd. Although it did give Ryan his sort of hero entrance of "don't touch that" sort of thing. And then also it made sense for Suki as the episode progressed, but her research buddy, who I am 95% sure was a human because of their first conversation, where she's like, "Oh, somebody will get here before you," but might not have been. She might have been one of the aliens as well, so it might have made sense for him as well. Mm-hmm. But their reaction to when the submariner just sort of like disintegrated in front of them, they seemed a little bit calm about it, in my mind. But as I say, it made sense for Suki because of the reveal, and then quite possibly he was one of her race anyway. We don't know, because we didn't really spend any time with them, which again comes back to too many characters, and not enough time to actually do anything with them. And the other one was Yaz, who I get what you said at the beginning of the episode about increased confidence and everything, but for me, I think the monologue in her head went something like this. So she'd gone back for the alien device. I'm fine with that. That's all good. Mm-hmm. She's competent. I get that. She goes in and it's like, that alien just teleported and he's got a hazmat suit, which probably means that he can't breathe in our environment and it's hostile to him. And I'm pretty sure he's gone to his home planet. So that's going to be a hostile environment for me. So I'm just going to teleport there. That's not rational thinking. It's not.
I would counter that by kind of saying, you might disagree, but I think she's probably more so than others. I think she's very much channeling the Doctor, as in trying to be the Doctor to a certain extent.
I agree with that. I do agree with that, but I have a but carry on.
And I think possibly that's something the Doctor would have done.
Yes, I think it was it was entirely her trying to emulate the Doctor and do what the Doctor would do, but I just think that the Doctor would have done it from a more informed standpoint.
Yeah, but the difference is, but there you go, there's the difference though, isn't it? Is we can sort of go, I think it's something the Doctor would have done from an informed standpoint, but she's just trying to be the Doctor, not necessarily realising that. And going, what would the Doctor? Oh yeah, the Doctor would just press the button and go. Whereas actually, she would have, I don't know, be fairly confident of that's not going to kill her.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's the Obi-Wan thing, isn't it? Who's the more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows them?
Yeah. So that didn't really bother me. I didn't really bother me. I actually thought she was going to die in this episode. I don't know why. It seemed like they'd put so many other companions in there that it just sometimes when they do that, sometimes it's a setup to kind of take out one of the other companions, and you've got like a replacement ready to go.
Yeah, and I think yeah. I mean, I didn't think it, I must admit, but it was when you look at like how the episode's structured as well, and the fact that she does go off on her own, and she does that kind of following, like you say, emulating the Doctor, and quite often that is the thing that leads to people's undoing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I can totally see why you were thinking that.
The thing that sort of I thought was odd, and I felt it was more, again, that idea of the decision was made by the characters to advance the plot rather than that decision being made because that's in the character's nature.
Okay.
Was the two girls, would you say names are Gabrielle and
Gabrielle and Jamelia?
Yeah. When they turn up at that sort of riverbed, which is now covered in rubbish. Now, they went to great lengths to show you a shot of what that place looked like. Yeah. And that place was basically a giant rubbish tip.
Yeah.
So that place would have stunk to high heaven.
Yes.
Right. Plus, it's warm where they are. Was it because they're in Peru? Was it Peru?
In Peru, yeah.
Yeah. So that place would have stunk to high heaven. There would have been flies. There would have been all sorts there. There is no way. I don't care what kind of travel plot. There's no way you're telling me that you're going to stay there.
No. And like you say, it was literally for plot, and it was for that kind of amusing but predictable cutaway of there's no way I'm sleeping here.
Yeah.
And then next day sort of thing.
But to be honest, it wasn't even a predictable cutaway, because when she was like, "There's no way I'm staying here," I was like, I wasn't expecting them to camp there. I thought they'd done that just to show a particular, like to show the audience, like, oh crap, it's really, everything's gone to hell here, and they've now discovered it. And then the next bit will be they've camped on a ridge somewhere else or whatever, and they can see down there and something else kicks off. So when it then cut to middle of the night and they are smack bang in the middle of this rubbish tip,
yeah.
I was just like, I really had to sort of go, just go with it, go, because it was nonsense in my head. That was probably the worst thing for me in the whole episode, was that it made no sense to me.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And also, just looking at the site where they had pitched up, they're experienced travellers. That's not where you would have pitched your tent in that scenario anyway.
No, it almost would have made more sense if they'd got there, seen it, and like how that guy died later with the birds. And I know, because we knew it was a bird or something. I don't know. But if they'd got there and they'd been sort of filming it or something for their blog, and then they'd got attacked.
Mm.
And maybe that's what Ryan see. I mean, it's difficult because you needed to have someone else there for Ryan to sort of interact with. But they could have. There was a way they could have worked around it. But I just thought that whole sequence with them camping made no sense. You just wouldn't. And I kind of felt like she kind of got over her friend's death awfully quickly.
Yes, yeah, that was something I was going to mention briefly.
Even to the end where she's kind of cracking jokes about kind of, two girls and the blog. We can do our own blog, and what's that? It's like your mate's dead.
Three idiots abroad.
Yeah, 3 idiots abroad. We could do a little. It's like your mate's body isn't even cut. Well, you can't even see her body anymore because it's dust. Yeah. And in my mind, it's been hours have passed.
Yeah, at most hours.
At most, hours have passed. And you're cracking jokes and, skipping off with the two guys, like about to have your own adventures and stuff. It just, I don't know. For me, the tone was off for that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Which also actually neatly brings me on to my other kind of, and again, specifically me, probably nitpick. But so at the end of the episode, they're in Madagascar, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's the three of them there. Other than the TARDIS crew, there's the three of them there. There's Jake, there's Gabriella, and there's Adam, who, okay, I'm ignoring Adam from this because he was lost at sea anyway, so he's in international waters anyway. Mm-hmm. But Jake flew from England to Hong Kong. Presumably he had some luggage with him and a passport, which presumably are still in Hong Kong. Even if they're not, how do you explain the fact that you're now in Madagascar? Gabriella, her stuff was all definitely still in Peru, including...
Oh, yeah, I get what you mean. Like, it's not even like where the stuff is. I mean, how do you even get back?
Exactly. This is where I'm going with it.
That's a good point.
At least 2 of those people, their passports are in other countries.
That's a good
along
point.
with all their belongings. Now, I accept, okay, he left in a hurry. He was wearing the same clothes. He probably had his passport in his pocket. Okay. But in her case, especially.
Hang on a minute. Why would you have had his he would have gone home, got his passport, and then.
Well, he's gone to Hong Kong, and he looked like he was in the same clothes. So maybe he had everything just in his pocket. He just had in his pockets what he had with him. So okay, fine. Yeah. But still, you're now in another country from where you were last registered.
Yeah, it's a good point. That's a very good point.
And in her case, in Gabriella's case, your mate was effectively murdered.
Yeah.
Or killed, and now you're in another country.
Yeah.
That don't look sus.
Also, as well, your mate got killed, who you do a blog with, that everyone, and it's supposed to be a really popular blog because she kept saying to one, "You've never heard of us."
Yeah.
So I'd love to see the next blog entry.
Yeah.
The next video blog, because how are you going to explain? Yeah, she's dead.
She's dead. Alien virus or some shit.
Alien virus killed her parents, friends, family. I mean, obviously, you go with it because it's not too in it.
Exactly.
What I would love to see, 2 things I would love to see was, one, the TARDIS disappear, like, and have like some 2 after credit scenes, like one with them just standing there realizing, like, oh crap.
Yeah, what do we do now?
What do we do now? How do we get home? She hasn't even dropped us off. Or 2, it's like
there's
3 years later. 3 years later, yeah, there's a spin-off series getting home. Or 3 years later, Gabrielle's in prison.
Yeah, I'm really bitter against the Doctor.
Yeah, there's your new arch enemy. She's really. Yeah. You left me. You left me to burn. And she's in prison for the everyone believes she's killed her best mate. Because that's a really good point. That is a really good plot point.
But it is one of those things. It's kind of like I was thinking about it today, and I was thinking the only things that kind of irritated me were those kind of sort of things, and it happens a lot with Doctor Who. You don't think about it. It's they occasionally call it out in the story as well, where the Doctor doesn't think of the consequences. The Doctor just turns up, does the thing, and goes away again, and that's all you see of it. There's never really any follow up very often.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things. I was sat there thinking, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was well structured, all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But I can see a gaping flaw in their plan now.
That's a great one. That is it's the same thing. It's like, it hasn't changed my overall view of the episode. I still really enjoyed it. But that to me, that's I can't not look at it the same way now.
Yeah. And do you know what? I really hope that it does turn out that she's the timeless child. It's Gabriella, and it was some kind of revenge plot.
You betrayed me.
So I worked out your race.
It reminds me, this is completely off topic, but remember Wrath of Khan, Star Trek 2?
Yeah.
Right? There's a bit where Chekhov meets Khan for the first time. Well, second, and he's like, but we left you here, and SETI Alpha 2, there was a chance. And he's like, this is SETI Alpha 2. It's like, SETI Alpha 1 exploded 6 months after you left us here. Admiral Kirk never bothered to come back and check. It's the same principle, do you know what I mean?
The wrath of Gabriella.
Yeah, it's like, but the Doctor left you, you know what I mean? Yeah, but then I was sentenced to like life imprisonment because they thought I'd killed my mate. Plus the other guy got killed nearby where I was. Everyone thought I'd made this virus. Yeah.
I've been locked up for eco-terrorism.
Yeah, I've been locked up here for 12 years. Left me to burn. Also as well, I mean, I would have thought she might have wanted to stick around a little bit longer, the Doctor, because it was kind of like, the guy went up into space, seeded the antidote into the Earth's atmosphere and stuff, and it's like, yep, that's all sorted. We've tried it on one person, it's worked. Yep, all good. Laters.
Episode 8, they come back to Earth and there's no one there.
It's just I probably what it
wasteland.
What it is.
55.
I was just gonna say what it is. That's what they've caused. You know what I mean?
It's a prequel.
Yeah, it's a prequel to Orphan 55 when she's giving that big speech. Go, whoa, you humans need to sort yourself out because that's what's happened. No, it was you.
It was you. Oh, I'm genuinely crying with laughter. I'm about to take my glasses off.
Wow.
Well, I feel like we've solved everything now.
I feel like we've covered all our bases. To be fair.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything else. So yeah, I mean, just to round up. There's a part of me that really hopes that's where this series is going now.
Yeah, there's your spoilers. Forget the master. Forget ruthless doctor. There's your twist.
The
doctor's an eco-terrorist without even realizing it.
She caused the possible timeline she was talking about.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Why aren't we running this show?
I know. I might have to send an email to Chris Chibnall. Don't know if you've ever thought about this, mate, but a couple of suggestions.
Yeah, a couple of suggestions based Gabriel, on the game.
Yeah. In series 13, Gabriel needs to be the arch enemy. Yeah. That would be awesome if that was how it finished, with her just locked up in prison. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or maybe she's been locked up in prison for like 5. Maybe it ends where we have all the timeless child stuff. We have Rufus and all that's all very great. All gets resolved, and then it kind of fades to black, and then it's kind of like Earth, like I don't know, like 10 years later or something, and you've got Gabrielle, but she looks different. Do you know what I mean? Like she's been doing press ups or something. She looks different. Yeah. And like shaven headed and stuff.
Yeah, she's there doing the Arrow, what do you call them, the salmon lifts.
Yeah, she's doing the salmon lifts from Arrow, and then like the master turns up, and then he's like, yeah, she's betrayed you, like she's betrayed me, like she's betrayed so many.
We need to form our own league.
Yeah, what it should be is that I think season 13 should be the master and all the companions the Doctor screwed over the years.
Yeah, like Adric. Adam. Yeah, it's kind of like the people you left behind come back to haunt you. And yeah, that'd be amazing if you've got the Master, Adric, Adam, and Gabriella. Some kind of like Legion of Doom.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Do you know
what I mean?
And it would be led by and it could be led by the Dr. Donna, but she's got her memory back and she's realised she's been properly screwed over by the Doctor.
Yeah. Yeah, she's there behind the scenes, so the Master thinks he's controlling everything.
It's actually
behind the scenes.
You betrayed me. You took my memory.
You took my life.
Yeah, this just went bad really quickly.
Yeah, I think we should probably wrap up now.
I think we should wrap up because that's not done. To be honest.
Yeah, because Doctor Who's done. We fixed it.
Doctor Who's done. We fixed it. You're welcome. You're welcome in there.
Nothing else will ever measure up.
Screwdriver drop. Boom.
Yeah. So thanks for listening. We kind of hope you'll tune into the next episode.
Yeah, but we understand if you don't.
Yeah. You know. Yeah, we fully accept that. So yeah, you can find us in the usual places. Geek Syndicate website. You can email us at thegeeks@geeksyndicate.co.uk. You can find us on Twitter, which is @Geek Syndicate for Barry or @WedgeDoc for me. And yeah, Facebook, Pinterest is still going, I think. So yeah, just find us on the social media. I'm WedgeDoc on everything that I'm on. Geek Syndicate's Geek Syndicate. So yeah, please do get in touch. Let us know what you think, and let us know if you think the series is heading the way we've just made out, which clearly it has to. Really, it's the only logical conclusion. Also, following on from last week's episode, it's only been a couple of days since our review episode went out. So do let us know your theories for the Ruthless Doctor, for the Timeless Child, for all that kind of good stuff that we talked about last episode. Do tune in next week when we will have another review for you.
Yeah. Bye all.
See you later.